Warning: children should have proper supervision while watching and practicing the lessons in this DVD. Before going fishing, know your local rules and regulations. Have fun and be safe out there. Chapter 3: Tackle.
Kids, I want to talk to you about something that always makes me really excited, and that's looking in a tackle box. First of all, there are so many different sizes and types and styles of tackle boxes. Geez, we couldn't cover them all in one day. But I'm going to keep it simple, because keeping it simple is going to catch you more fish. And it's going to make life easier and a little bit more enjoyable too. So what I typically do is use a very small tackle box with a little bit of tackle to target the fish that I'm after on a particular day. For you, I suggest you follow those same techniques. In my tackle box, you might find a little tape measure, a short tape measure, maybe 5-6 feet long, to measure the fish that you're catching so that you can follow the rules. I myself like to use a jig head with plastic baits. It's fun because you can use so many different combinations of colors and things like this with the tails and the jig head that comes in so many different sizes and weights and shapes, and like I said, colors and variations of styles too. So typically you're going to find in my tackle box a couple of little jigs like this with plastic tails. A lot of fun to catch fish on. You're always thinking about, what are the fish biting today? Kids, another thing you're going to need in your tackle box are hooks, particularly when you're doing bait fishing. This circle hook was designed to be safer for the fish. With this bent tip, it actually sets hook easier and usually hooks the fish right in the corner of the mouth, making it easier to get the hook out. And speaking of getting the hook out, it's not unusual to find some kind of dehooking device in someone's tackle box. To get the hook out of the fish, it's safer for you and the fish when you have a dehooking device. Also, you might need a couple of different types of weight to keep the bait down on the bottom. This is called an egg sinker, and it slides on your line once you take the tag in through the middle of the weight, and then you tie your hook on, and it keeps it down on the bottom, and it also free lines through this weight. This is called a split shot. And the reason I like the split shot is because you can apply it to your line very easily by snapping it on and off, so it's reapplicable. These little split shots work real well. Then what's a tackle box without having a bobber in it? A plastic bobber like this will keep your bait up and out of the grass, and you can adjust it by running your line through this little metal insert sleeve that's on the top of the plastic bobber. Simple tackle box. You can take it with you down to the lake, down to the stream, the fishing pier, or the dock, and catch some fish and have fun and not worry so much about losing your stuff because you don't have a big box. You just got a couple of things in it. Easy to carry around, keeps life simple, makes it more enjoyable. Kids, let me give you a couple more tips about how to catch more fish. They're not all that much different than us. There's 3 things that attract fish: sight, sound, and smell. And how do you apply that to your fishing? Let me show you real quick. Today there's many different scents that you can get to make fish or to attract fish and make them more interested in your lure. One is this BioEdge shad wand. And something like this, you can either apply it directly to your bait like this, or maybe you just put a dab behind your ear. You don't have to apply again the whole day long. I don't know about that. Let's just keep it on the lure for now. Another thing is sound. You've got to have something in your lure that creates sound. This is a Woody's rattle, and what I typically do is apply it to the inside of my plastic baits, and it gives me that sound that you need to attract more fish. And third, but definitely not last, is sight. That's an important element of fishing. You want to make sure that you're using the right colors on the right day. Bright colors on bright sunny day in clean water, and darker colors on darker days and in darker water. Trying to catch more fish? Remember, sight, sound, and smell. the 3 S's. You'll catch more fish. Shh, don't tell anybody. That's a secret tip between me and you. I prefer to use jigs and plastic baits because they catch more fish and they're easy and fun to use. We talked about that a little bit earlier when we were talking about the 3 S's and the things that we keep in our tackle boxes, right? So between me and you, one of the most fun, creative things I like to do is to put those plastic baits on the hook. And how do you do that? Well, I'm going to tell you a tip right now. You do it slow and easy, and you got to practice a bit too to get it right. But once you get it right, it'll be a breeze. In this case, this is a jig head, a lead jig head that weighs 1/4 ounce. It's got a little barb here. Now, why is the barb on the hook? The same reason the barb is on the jig head, to keep the bait on. So when you apply it, you want to make sure that there is a barb on your jig head to keep this plastic bait on. And the way I start here is I take the plastic bait and I run the tip directly into the middle of the head. And I start threading the bait over the hook. Once I come to the bend of the hook, I push the barb out and I keep running it up the shank of the hook until it goes over the barb, and then I flush it right up against the jig's head, just like so. This is kind of how the jig should look. It should run through the water very smoothly, and it should look like a bait fish or something in the water that fish want to eat. Now, remember the 3 S's. You can see it, you can smell it once you put your scent on, and now let's apply the rattle to create the noise that we need for sound. Well, the first thing I do is I take the pointy end of the rattle and I wet it. I hold the jig firmly in my hand, squeezing the plastic bait, and I look for a place that I can apply the rattle so it won't come out of the bait. In this case, I start at the back, I push it in, and then I parallel, running along the shank of the hook, I parallel it with this rattle and I push it in. And once it gets in, I pull this up, the plastic bait around it, push it in one more time, and that rattle just disappears right into the body of the jig head, of the jig and the plastic bait, just like so. It's a piece of cake, and now I'm sure you can hear that, and so can the fish. That's the plastic bait you want to use right there. Something simple, something bright the fish can see, something they can hear, and once you apply the scent, something they can smell.
Thanks for watching. Click here to view Chapter 4, Hooks and Rigging. Please subscribe to our channel to watch the latest videos from Pure Ocean TV.